Hey, welcome to American Truck Simulator. Alright, today we are going to be running some tests because we like tests. Tests are good. So, it'll take me a few seconds to get things set up here. Apparently we're live, but I'm not convinced about that just yet. Got to make sure that that's working. I think it is. Alright, that looks like it is. Okay. Alright, that's good. So that appears to be live there. Let's go ahead and minimize that. Right, well, if you're just joining me, today is going to be predominantly a test of the Detroit Diesel 8V-92 and this is destined for the Steele Productions Engine Pack. Got a full range of engines that I've currently been working on, but when this is live, the night before, my good friend Zach says, "Hey, there's a new mod on the scene, and it's better than yours." Now, Zach was a lot kinder about that, but hey, that's fantastic. I want mods to be better than mine, so I can improve mine and make things better. Well, that's the plan. Let me go ahead and jump into the game here. Like so. Okay, there we go. Let's just check and show off the specification of what we've got under the hood here. So we have, well, it doesn't actually show, but that is, I think that's a 1981 Detroit Diesel 8V-92. It's a silver engine. It's a 365, but I think, where are we in the game? Are we? Okay, we're at butt. Can't help myself, sorry. Let's go ahead and I'm going to just travel somewhere else. I think I want to go up to Alaska. Alaska's a great place to just test engines, and let's go ahead and go to Valdez. Okay, so I know I could have driven there, but hey, I want to do this that way. Right, it's dark. What time is it? 3 in the morning. Well, that's a little disappointing. I really wanted to be able to see things because this Mack Super-Liner is well and truly chromed up. Let's see what's actually close to me. You know, I think I'm going to go ahead and drive to somewhere I can take a break. And we'll take a break. Oh, I better change the sound settings as well. Now, if you are more astute with your sounds, or you have a good ear, and I am neither of those, you've probably already recognized what the sound is of this engine. It is not a Detroit Diesel 8V-92, but it is a V8 taken from ETS2. This is the 2016 specification. Scania V8. So where can I? Oh, just here on the left. It's not great. He didn't stop, so I'm guessing he doesn't have a stop sign. Okay, this looks like I can pull in straight in here. Nope, not quite. One of the things that's been preventing me from progressing too hard on the 8V-92 is I just don't have the sound for it. Well, this isn't ideal, but it is an 8-cylinder as opposed to a 6. Can I stop here? Is this good enough to stop? There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and switch the external view, turn my lights off, turn my engine off. Right, let's take a break immediately. There we are. So the Mack Super-Liner, this is taken from. No, let me rephrase. The paint job is one of the stock ones that comes with the truck. I have chromed this bad boy up about as much as I can. We've got Trilex wheels on, the chromy wheels. They're all shiny. Let's jump out the car, the truck and take a look. Because chrome will get you home, right? It's the other way around, but okay. So yeah, chrome bumper, chrome wheels, chrome tanks, chrome accessories, chrome boxes, chrome battery box, chrome rear bumper, not bumpers, mudguards, the chrome rear end bumper. Yeah, I mean, this thing's going to get me home, right? We'll see. We'll absolutely see. Let's just check the horn. That works for me. Okay. Let's go ahead and start the engine. Alright. I think what I want to do, let's see if I can grab a trip in the vicinity. It's not too far. What have we got? A boat. Well, I like boats. That's, yeah, I can do the short way round for that. I can literally take the ferry across to Homer and grab the trip that way, but I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to do a I like boats trip, because I mean, who doesn't like a yacht? And I could go either way. I could get the ferry and tackle all these hills and gradients from Homer up through Soldonta, Cooper Landing, Anchorage. That would be an interesting trip, but this is also very, very pretty. It says it's 6.5 hours to drive as well, so I mean, that doesn't sound so bad. And it's a fairly light trip as well, so let's go ahead and grab that. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Let me just adjust the sound slightly so I can hear myself think. 33 should be okay. We'll check that when we get into it. Right, that's definitely better from my perspective as well. Let's go ahead and put this thing in gear. So I'm just gonna, there we go, just get on with it. Right. Dum dum dum. Yeah, so it is a silver spec engine. Did I jump over that curb last night? I guess I did. No wonder it was a bit sticky. Let's go ahead and raise the rise height, I think. Just want to do that. Just going to help a little bit over the curb, because that curb looks enormous. Yeah, I don't like doing this. Okay, well, we did it though. Let's drop those down. So the advantage of the mod I was looking at, the Euro Truck Simulator mod that Nex has posted to Steam Workshop, is it makes use of how SCS try and attempt to use adaptive shift patterns. What does all that mean? Well, it means the harder you squeeze the accelerator pedal, the more revs, the more power it will give you. It means that when you're just feathering around like I am here, it should short shift.
Go straight.
Now, short shifting the 8V-92 probably means shifting up at maybe 1600 revs at the absolute highest. It might mean lower. Excuse me, Fusion, or whatever you are, S-Max, Edge, My Road. Am I a road hog? Yes, I think I might be. Look at this. It's doing it. It's shifting up about 1550.
Go straight.
I think I have right away. Yes, thank you. And I'm using a 10-speed, Fuller Eaton or Fuller 10-speed transmission. It's actually an 8 LL, so it's a vocational box. It's easier to test this with an 18 speed because it'll short shift and go through all the gears sequentially. I don't necessarily want to do that, but I want to just feather the power and make sure that it shifts nice and early, so and without skipping. So let's see, when's it going to change? Okay, it's about 15. You're going to upshift. Yeah, it's not right now, but that's okay. Squeeze a bit more power. There we go. Okay, so 1600 RPM to 1200, which is probably about what we would expect. Let's drop into my speed. So when we give it more power, it's going to shift up later. So when you give it more power input, I should say.
Get ready to turn right.
So let's go ahead and lift off. I've also given, I've tweaked the engine brake and how that works a little bit. So we'll test. We'll be testing that as well. tackled that way too quickly. Okay. Alright, I think I've just adjusted my engine brake to be lower, so we'll test that. Let's get up to maybe 25 or so. There we go. Put the engine brake on. Alright, well that seemed to be way... Okay, I think I may have just adjusted that how it should be. Let's try that again, shall we? Yep, that's a gentle engine brake. Okay. So we've got a 3-stage engine brake that I've set up on the engine. Stage 1 is something like 30% engine brake only. Stage 2 is more like 60% or 75% engine brake only. And stage 3 is 100% engine brake and a downshift. Now, I don't know if that will be accurate or not. Possibly, possibly not. Probably not, to be fair. But I wanted just to play around with it, because I'm going to need to use engine brake in Alaska. But obviously we need a bit more weight to help, so we'll try that one more time. Let's get up to 30. Gentle engine brake, okay. This is stage 2 if it works. Try it again up to 30. Yep, definitely more powerful. And this is full on engine brake. Oh yeah, okay. Well, that worked. Well, that's good. So far, so good. Really simple tweaks, but the time that's going to be involved in checking all this is I got to get some cargo behind this engine, and I got to play around with hills and gradients and all sorts of fun stuff like that. 5 minutes before it expires, I did it just in time. Excuse me again. I mean, it's definitely a V8, but it's not a Detroit diesel. It sounds better than it did before, so I'm happy with that. Now, I anticipate that today's test run, if I'm going to do this, you know, a genuine test as opposed to just claiming I'm testing, is I'm going to have to drop out of the game, edit the text file direct, and because of the way I've got OBS set up, you're not going to get to see that. You're just going to see the game. It's not that I'm trying to hide anything I'm doing. There's nothing like that in the slightest. Although, to be fair, there may be some projects I'm working on that I might not be able to make public, but that's nothing I can fix. But mostly it's because OBS handles just showing the game really elegantly, and oh, that's a little tight. I didn't really feel like tweaking that. Oh, it's not that tight. It's just I thought it was bigger than it really is, and yeah, shut up. Okay. My machine is a little janky, but it is live streaming this right now. And apparently it's not had a reboot for a very long time. 25.5 days. It's a little unusual for me. Well, no, it's not, to be fair. I don't like to reboot the machine unnecessarily, because at work in IT we spend our entire day telling people to turn it off and on again, right? We really don't, but... Okay, that's got the machine connected. I'm going to just drop back here, drop to Windows and check my engine definition. So we're using this one. Shift points, low gear 1450. It will shift up with 1000, and as the record. Oh, no, let me rephrase. In SCS engine definitions, you've got a low gear range and a high gear range, and this is not set in stone. This is just what it will prefer. Low gear is 1000 to 1450. That's what I threw in there, and high gear is 1200 to 1500. I suspect I might want to reverse those a little, but I'll keep them as they are. Power range is 14 to 100 to 2100. Okay, and the engine brake is 15 to 2200. I let it extend a little bit into beyond the governor on the engine brake. Auxiliary brakes. So stage 1 is 30%, stage 2 is 60%, and stage 3 is 100% engine braking effort plus a downshift. Okay, well, I'll keep that as it is right now. jump back in the game like so. And put it in gear, off we go. So let's just double check. Okay, it's so we got low, 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 first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Okay, that's perfect. I'm gonna see if I just put it into drive. It wants to start me off in low. Okay, which is kind of second. We'll see. And I'm feathering the throttle. Just want to gently bob out of this spot without going into the river. There's another setting I really want to adjust or make sure I get correct in my engines, and that is a semi-truck. You can lift off the clutch and it'll move by itself. You don't need to feed it in as you do with a car. And I don't have a clutch pedal and the controller. I use a controller, so it's a little hard for me to be able to test that. But I've got an idea, so let's just try that now. Okay, so we'll put it in low. I'm going to give it a squeeze of power and immediately lift off, like so. Okay. We'll see if it starts to roll itself. It didn't there. We'll try that again. Put itself in low, low. So a hint of power and then off the power. There's a little bit more and it's working. It put itself into low though. Okay. Just try and stop it. Try that again. Hint of power. Put itself in low. And yeah, it's not quite doing it. Try it again. Hint of power. Gonna force it to use low, low now and try the same thing again. Hint of power, get it rolling, and it's doing it. So it's not stalling, it's picking up speed. And if I brake it with it in gear like so, use the service brakes, stop it here, it disengaged the clutch. Now does that mean it would stall? I would suppose it would. If I release the foot brake, it's, yeah, we're not going to move forward. Okay. Trying to figure out how I can test that without necessarily getting people with a, because someone might say it's fine and it might not be fine for one of my engine definition customers, shall we say. Well, I guess I'll have to keep playing. Anyway, I'm feathering with the throttle and it seems to be working so far. But it's easy to make it travel around fine and just feathering the throttle. The difference is when I give it a boot full of power. So let's feather it through. I'm going to lift off here. Turn it in here. Turn the wheel. Nice. Hard to starboard. Ding ding. Okay.
What are we waiting for?
Great. Alright, let's give it a bunch more power. Right, so it's changing up about 1700 revs, okay. That's not full power. And if I now give it full power, it's still changing up at 17, okay. Yep, so it's definitely a change. But is it dramatic enough? And this is where I think it's going to take me a lot of time to tweak around with the settings. Because if you're at full power, would you really expect to be changing up at 1700 revs? Well, you might be, and maybe up a hill it's going to extend out to 2100. This is what I got to find out. I got a feeling that the hill makes a difference. I was going to have a little conversation there, but looks like I'm good to go. Cheers, Gov. So gentle power, and it's changing up just over 1500. Okay. I mean, that's completely fair enough. Give it a bit more power, and we change up to 17. Okay, so that works. It's just full power is not giving me the full 2100 revs. Okay. Guess it's that much different to what it was before, and I may have to switch back to the other definition. I kept the original numbers just to see, and I'm pretty sure it is different. This is just one transmission though. I'm going to check a whole bunch of them. Okay, well, I guess I'm using more power and going up a hill because it's wanting 1700 revs between changes, so is that accurate? All these questions I don't have answers for right now,
Get ready to turn right.
but it's good to ask the questions.
Turn right.
Pretty aggressive on the engine brake there, but that's completely okay. Alright, let's switch my chat window, show me live chat. Did anyone message me? No, no one did. Okay, that's completely fine. I don't like missing messages, and I do it all the time. Come on, guys. What's the hold up? I thought he was indicating left, but must have just been his brake light. Okay, I'm going to give it full power as we leave here. There we go. There's a police car coming, I reckon. So we'll just give it full beans and see what happens. Again with a 1700. I wonder if that's because it's aiming for 1400 when it upshifts. Well, it's missing 1400, so... Alright. Oh, cruiser set at 55. We'll get myself up to speed. And we'll see what happens when we come to some hills. With cruise engaged, the engine's been given, or being tasked to give itself full power, so it's not gonna be subtle about short shifting. I don't expect that. That's okay. There's a definite V8 burble in the background, and I'm happy with that. Lift off my power here. Let's use my engine brake. Okay. I think that was at full strength, so as we pick up speed, it might use stage 1. Is it going to use it? It's not going to pick up enough speed. Okay, fine. Pile on the power to get up this next gradient. We'll see when it shifts down. That's another important test as well. Alright, so we changed down nice and early, which is good, and it's still... Alright, we didn't quite reach 1400 revs. I was interested to see if it would downshift at 1400 RPM, which is the sort of low point of the high power setting in the engine definition bit. We didn't get to that point, so we didn't get to test it. There'll be other hills though, that's okay. And it may only be triggered with a heavier load on the back. Right now, yeah, we're going up a hill right now, and it shifts down at 1200, okay. Cranks it up to 15 in 7th. We'll see if it's going to change down. There's 14. Is it going to layer it down to 1200, which is not really what I want, but okay, it didn't quite do it. Again with a 1700 RPM shift point. Okay, well, I'm not unhappy, but it's not exactly doing what I would necessarily have expected. But yeah, so right now it's holding on to 1200. It's not anymore downshifts. This is similar to the behavior that I saw before. I'll pull over and just adjust the engine definitions. That's something else as well. When you test, you've got to exit the game or exit the profile, go to the game launch page. I should really have signaled before I maneuvered there. Yeah, I'm going to pull over actually. Okay, let's go ahead and do this here. We've got plenty of space to move over. Alright, so don't do that. I'm going to leave it running because it's going to turn everything off. So go back to here, exit to launch pad like so. I'm going to jump back to Windows. Let's tweak some settings. So I did have 1000 to 1450. I'm going to increase. No, I'm not. I'm going to reduce my low gear engine range I'm going to make it 1400, and I'm going to do 1375 for the high gear. Now the power side of it, power is 1400 to 2100. Let me keep that as it is for now. I think I don't want to change. I want to change too much at once, because I think that's just going to make it harder. And in fact, maybe I should have. Yeah, you know what? Let me go back and just change my low gear range and not my high gear. So high gear's gone back to 1200 to 1500, and low gear is 1000 to 1400. That, when it makes it easy to understand what on earth I'm doing to the engine definitions. Right, that's been made, it's been saved. Jump back in the game. Wait for it to load. Still loading. Still loading. Okay. Let's jump back in the truck. Thank goodness I don't have a slow machine, right?
Get on with it.
Okay, so I'm going to ignore the fact that my engine's cold, so it's immediately put me in low, but I think I'm pointing down a hill, which is interesting. Okay, so far we're seeing, I'm going to give it a bit more power actually. I really want to get up to speed pretty quick. So that's full power. And again with the 1700, okay. And now approaching the upper gears as opposed to the lower gears. So we'll get cruise back onto 55. Don't expect any difference in the higher gears, and that's fine. We didn't change that setting. Still seeking 1200 when it changes up. Okay. Oh. Probably want to just pull over again and tweak my high gear settings. Oh, my steering is all over the place. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Let's pull over. Yeah, that engine brake's pretty effective when it downshifts. Okay, same thing again. So do this, close the profile, like so. Jump back to Windows. I'm going to make my high gear range up to 1400 as well, as opposed to 1500, and we'll see if there's a change in behavior here. So let's amended that, save that. Let's go back to where the game. Get back into the game. Dump the down. Okay, almost there. Right.
Okay, here we go.
Right, so we're pulling off at full power here. Very, very not kind to an engine that's cold, but it's testing purposes. It's fine. It's a simulation. So no difference in the lower gears. I mean, might see a difference here. So 17 to like 1300. Okay. I guess it's slurring between the low and the high range. Maybe 1250 there. Okay. I would say it is not really changed its behavior. I think I'm going to set my cruise there. And here is what I've always found the complication is with trying to tune the shift points, is the game does its own thing sometimes. You can specify the parameters of where it's going to shift up and down, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, but I want to do things my way. And you can make a huge change to an engine definition, and it can make an enormous change to how the engine works. Or it can make a limited change. I guess some variables are more important than others. Maybe. And that changes. And this stuff is not documented by us. Yes, I kind of am happy it's not documented. I gotta figure it out. But right now, it's pulling okay at the 12 to 1300 RPM point, or 1250, whatever it is. I've no real need to change this. It's working okay. And yet, I want to optimize it. Okay. Well, I guess whilst we ride along, let's take another look at this chromy, shiny Mack Super-Liner. Beautiful truck model. It's completely free. There should be a link in the description below. It is free, but if you like it, I encourage you to donate a little money to the author. So there's an upstanding job of both this and the Mack add-on pack. It's the same author. I'm not going to butcher it. I'm assuming it's a gentleman. I'm not going to assume the name by trying to pronounce it. Probably will later on and forget, but okay. Alright, so that was a downshift at the 1250 RPM point. We expect that. And it short shifted up to sort of 1150-ish RPM. Interesting. It's ignoring my 1200 minimum running range for the engine. The DD8V-92 is not known for its low-down torque, but it's definitely better than the 6V-92, shall we say. This engine's only 1250 foot-pounds of torque. It's not exactly, I wouldn't call it a heavyweight. 365 horsepower is okay. In context of what we're doing with the truck, it's more than you need. It's only 17,500 pound cargo, so it's not the heaviest. I mean, it's a boat, so obviously it's cool, but it's not the heaviest boat. It's probably a yacht. Okay, I'm going to turn left here. What's my fuel state? I could stop to get some fuel. How long have I got? 170 miles, that'd be fine. Use some engine brake there. So that's what I expect. It's cranking it up to 2100 RPM when we brake. Hard on the service brake, turn in. I left it a little late to turn in. Oh no, I actually did alright. Okay, I take it back. And I'm going to feather the throttle as we accelerate back up to 55 here. Want it to be upshifting at about the 14 to 1500 RPM point. 16. Okay. Let's try something. Let's go back down to 5th. So that 27. Let's put it up to 30. No. Okay. I want to just get the right speed. So 28 is 1600 revs in 5th. So if we shift to 6th, that's 1200. Okay. Now, what if we shifted at 15? Which is maybe 26. Okay. Ish, give or take. That's down to 1100. I would have expected it would have shifted there. Maybe. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and if I put it back in automated mode, is it going to downshift if I ask it to accelerate? So automated now, no downshift. Yeah, and it's going to pull from 1100 revs. Okay, so see there, we're in the middle of the gearbox, top higher end, but I would have hoped it would have considered shifting to 1100 RPM. But it didn't. How weird. How bizarre. Now, would it with a heavier cargo? Yeah. I'll find that one out as well. It did shift at 1500 there, and that put me right down to sort of 11-ish, 1150 RPM. You know, let's actually just test that as well. down to 7. And I think, there we go, that's 1500 RPMs, that's 48. 48 and top is just over 1100 revs. So why is it, what is it, and why is it doing that? Alright, kill my cruise, drop a couple of gears, use the engine brake, get yourself down to here. Oh, well, someone's gone around me. Put it back into automated, let's get up to 55 again. Bit of a hill, when's it going to shift? Will it shift as we crest the hill? Kind of. Accelerates down the hill. When's it going to upshift? It was 48 earlier, so now we're going up a hill. I'd like it to stay in this gear, even if we exceed 48, to give itself a bit more power on the next gear. But we're not able to accelerate up that hill. Okay, not quite got enough power. This reason for the shifting behavior may be because it's got a 10 speed, and that's kind of overriding some of the preferences. It won't shift to do 1000 RPM in top gear. Downshifts to get back down to 15. Okay, it's still losing speed. I don't think it needs to downshift just yet, but I might expect it to, given I told it to power band is, when it's in high power mode, it's 1400 to 2100 RPM. On the other hand, if it did that, it'd be very noisy, and we wouldn't really achieve much. And then it short shifts up to 1100 RPM in top gear, which is kind of below the 1200 preferred minimum. So yeah, it's not entirely following what I've asked it to, but it never does. And it might do with an 18 speed as opposed to a 10 speed. I should have done a night stop for the night. Oh no, it's only not even 4 PM. I wanted to stop about 7 PM to get the driver back onto a 5 AM to 7 PM schedule, but yeah, he's got a few hours till 7. Talking about my driver in the third person, yes, I'm driving it, but the character you see at the wheel, I mean, it represents you, but independently he or she gets tired. Anyway, that's all noise, I think. Oh, it's really pretty in this part of Alaska. Alright, that's actually quite a nice sound as it goes past the whole V8 rumble thing going on there. I could not have put an inline 6 sound effect for the 8V-92. I wouldn't do it. It was wrong. Not even for not even for testing. I had to use a V8 sound from somewhere. So I'm happier I've got the Scania sound from ETS. But yeah, wow. Okay, let's see. Do we have any hills that we're coming up to? I can test this. We've got some twisty stuff. That's good. That might be a hill involved there. But it's also seemingly getting dark, so we can't see the hill, we can't anticipate it so well, and that makes it a bit harder to test. Okay. Part of me feels like pulling over and changing the engine definitions just again, but I really want to experience these tighter corners coming up. We may even have a slower speed as well. Yeah, that's pretty tight. Let's lift off completely, and I'm going to use the engine brake. Get my speed under control. Yeah, so not excessive with the downshifting there. Gently coast around here, all over the road. Not the most professional drive, but okay. So a slight gradient and it downshifted. I would expect that. That's good. And it didn't change up there, but I think it will when we crest. Let's see. Is it going to crest? Is it going to change up? No. If I suggest the change, it hasn't immediately downshifted. It might do now. Okay. So it must be right on the cusp of what it will tolerate in 7th gear. Right. So it shifted there. Like we crested the hill and it immediately shifted. Let's put my cruise control up to 60. We'll see if we can take it back up to 60. Fairly, I would say fairly sharp, but not with this amount of power. Okay. It definitely short shifted there, and it feels like it's labouring a little bit, but it's accelerating up the hill. So I'm not unhappy with that. Okay. Right. I'm going to pull over and change things. So let's go back to here. So let me go and check the torque curve of this engine. Alright. Not that you can see, but on my other monitor, so I'm looking here. I modeled it. Okay. Bunches of torque at 1000 RPM. Peak torque's at 1300 for this particular engine. So actually 1000 RPM is not unrealistic for the upper gears. 900 is still reasonable. So let's take 100 RPM off the low gear range on the low side. So we're going to go 900 to 1400. And we're going to go 1100 to 1400 on the high gear. So we're allowing we're not allowing the engine. We are recommending that the engine and the transmission run things at about 100 RPM lower across the rev range. Let's go and see how that affects it. My expectation is it will short shift even more, but I really want it to be able to extend the revs as the power demand goes up. Now maybe we have to cap the high end of the shift points to encourage that behavior even more. As we'll find out.
Ready to roll.
Right, so feathering it as we move off. It's up a bit of a hill, so it's going with a 1500 shift point. Okay, and that's completely what I would expect. Alright, I'm going to use the cruise now. That's going to apply lots of power. Short shifted to 1100 RPM. Okay. 13, 13, 15, 14. Shifted up at 1400. Okay. That was definitely a short shift. And this does look like it's an uphill gradient. Right, so we're going to do 1400. Little bit higher, but it went for 1100 RPM. So it is running a little lower through the gears. It's allowing itself to short shift more. Okay. there. I'm going to disable cruise control and just try it manually for a little bit now, I think. So my preference is to use cruise an awful lot when I drive around, as it avoids getting busted speeding. So we'll see what it behaves like when I'm fully in control of the throttle pedal as opposed to my cruise control system. So feeding in a bit more power. I'd love to have that display on the screen that shows the power I'm feeding in, but it's not. I don't have it, but there we go. So feeding in more power, a little bit more, and when's it going to shift? So if I lift off now, it's not going to shift up, okay. Give it a bit more power. Let's get it up to 47, 48. Feathering it here, so full power and lift off. And it changed. Huh, okay. Full power now, and it downshifts. Oh, look at that. Okay. And goes to 1200 RPM. So lift off completely, bit of engine brake. It's gonna force the downshift, okay. So I'm feathering the power as we gradually accelerate. Very gradually accelerate here. When's it gonna shift up? That's almost 1600 revs and it shifted up. Give it full power and it downshifts. Okay, lift off and it upshifts. That's better than it was before I did any of these changes, but it's kind of what you would expect.
Exit right.
Let's go ahead and turn my engine brake down to stage 1 here. Okay, and that's behaving as I would expect. Yeah, that was actually I noticed a big difference in braking effort there. All over the places I try to narrate what I'm testing and what I'm feeling.
Go straight.
So I'm definitely seeing a change in the behavior. It's a bit more subtle than I was maybe hoping, but I suspect I can resolve that by pretty much telling the engine to really restrict the revs it will allow itself to go to in the gears. So I guess we can slice up maybe 100 or 200 RPM off the high engine speed for each particular gear. That might solve it. So using cruise, get me back up to 55 and 1400 revs, okay. And that seems to be that the limit there is it needs 1100 revs on the next gear when it changes up. So that's pretty much as I would expect, I think. Brake really hard there, way hard. That was much harder than I needed to. I'm glad that one ran into the back of this yacht. It would be a bit embarrassing. Well, the good news, Mr. Customer, is your yacht now comes with an SUV attached.
Safe and sound.
The bad news is, it's not your SUV, it's someone else's, and they ran into the back of it, because our driver was a clumsy oaf. Okay, I am going to just skip that. I guess I will record the trip, because it was indeed a trip, and I do need to make sure my mileage numbers are realistic. So 309 miles, 50 gallons, give or take, is about 1/6 of the gallon. That's fair enough, I think. Got no sort of. It's maybe a little light on fuel. Actually thinking about it, so I will increase its fuel consumption a little bit. But the gearing was also sensible, and it was short shifting, so maybe that's about right. Let's continue here, go to here, drink some more water. Right, I'm going to grab some water and then drop to Windows, some changes. I'll be right back. And I'm back. What did I miss? Okay, a couple of tweaks I want to make to this engine definition. So we did have 900 to 1400 on the low gear speed range. Let's make that 1300 on the upper end. And I had 1100 to 1400 on the high gear. I'm also going to make that 1300. And I want to just tweak the fuel consumption a little bit. We had a fuel consumption coefficient of 1.03. I want to bump that up to what would I have expected from that? A little heavier. I guess we'll make it 1.007. We'll add 4% penalty in fuel consumption, an extra 4% penalty. Save those definitions, go back to here, jump back into the game. Let's see what we've got. It's going to make me wait to connect back in, but that's okay. I wonder if this will be easier if I have my own trailer. Yeah, that might be a little easier, rather than keep having to grab cargoes, because I imagine there's not much going from Wazilla. Well, there's a few, but that's interesting. There's a few, but yeah, I don't really want to handle those. Okay. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is let's find a constant. Let's get a cargo we can take a look at, and then it'd be a little easier to mess around with stuff. So, do I have a fuel? Oh, it's being used by Emily. Okay, I can't use that. Belly livestock. Well, livestock one would be interesting. Although, I'll tell you what, I can pick up. I could easily pick up the Wilson cargo, or like this one here. Let's see. I've only done one load in it. It's a big. That is a big trailer. Where is it? Olympia. Okay. Well, let's use it. Great. And I'm going to quick travel to Olympia, which I think I'm going to forget where Olympia is. Is it? It's not California. It's Oregon, isn't it? I think. No. It's Washington State. Okay. Let's travel here. Hey, Daniel. I am. It's been a good day so far. I feel like I've got some homework to do, and that's always a good thing. Right, let's check if I got that. Yes, I do. I've got the trailer. So let me just check what the tail weight of this thing is. What does it weigh? It's not showing here. Right, used the wrong screen. Okay. My bad. Is it service? Where's the summary? There it is. Only weighs 9,000 pounds. That's not really enough. I want something that weighs a lot more than that. Okay, that's disappointing. 28 foot. That's more than 28 feet. That's enormous. Okay, that isn't quite what I wanted to do. I want a trailer that weighs maybe 20,000 pounds, give or take. So I'll have to do something a little different. What other trailers do I got? So first things first, we'll dismiss this trailer like so. Can I even see how much these weigh? I wonder if I can. Yes, I can. Look at that. Shows me on the summary. Okay. So a horizontal bottom dumper that might be quite heavy. If we were to make that a turnpike dumper, that's a big trailer, and then confirm that that's tailway is okay. That's perfect. So, right, I've got a bottom dumper. Like so, and so this, okay, its tail weight is 12,500 pounds. Let's reconfigure that. Yes, we want a single. Let's make it the longest one we can have. 45 feet, 3 axles. Yep, I think that'll do me. I suppose I should probably think about changing the color of it. I think I'll just make it a color. Do I have black? No. Graphite grey it is then. I'm gonna make these steel. Wow, it's a lot of steel advance. So I suppose we'll go here. This is just to keep the thing looking fairly consistent. I don't need to do this, I just want to. There we go. It's like that. And then I suppose right now I am using shadow lug nuts, I think they're called. Wheel bolts, wheel nuts even. So I don't necessarily feel I have to do this, but it looks better. Good fuel max. Yep. Yeah, I guess I just like things to look a certain way, right? Mm-hmm. Alright, that's got to be fine. Let's do that. So what's its tare weight? Is it going to show me? Alright, it weighs 18,000 pounds. I think I want it a little heavier than this. So, I can't make it any longer, but I guess I can have a double. Looks like it's the length it's going to be. Okay. Well, now I can't not change these wheels because I've already done that. So I feel obliged to be doing this now. Look what I've gone and done to myself. Yeah, okay. Normal service will be resumed at some point in the not too distant future, but I really wanted to get these looking consistent. That's gonna do, I think. Okay. So now the tare weight is 28. Okay, that works for me. Help to test. Copy that. Well, it's going to be. It's not one engine, Daniel. It's there's about over 100 in the engine pack. Moab, that's in Utah. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to fast travel to Utah, and I want to take a sleep break in the game because I want to be driving this at daylight. So Moab, 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 Moab. There we go. Dum dum dum. What time is it here? It's 10:30. Seriously? That's a little frustrating. I wanted to be stopping at 7, but now I'm going to find somewhere to sleep, and it's already late. So I guess we'll go this way.
Let's go.
The purpose of doing this is it's going to give me a bit of weight behind the wagon, so it's not a horrendous amount of weight, but it's going to help me test. As it will behave differently with weight versus not with weight. It should do, I should say. This guy's turning in, but where's the second truck going? And there's now a car behind him. Okay. Good on the left. Okay, let's move off at full power because there's stuff coming and it's moving up to 1600 revs. Okay. Why did they let the short shift? So I'm going to use the cruise up to 55, I think. We'll see if it short shifts with cruise control enabled. So it set 1300 revs in top gear, so we're coming up to 13 now. Is it gonna shift early? Not yet. Not yet. That's almost 14. But it needs a minimum engine speed in the next gear, so
Good drive.
if I lift off, it doesn't change up. But I wasn't at the sort of magic 48, basically. Okay. Let's pull in. Oh, bit of a curb. Bump. Yeah, that was a little harsh. Okay, I guess I'm in the area. Yeah, I am. Okay. Let's go ahead and get some rest. So this day I really want to try and well, that's pretty. Really want to try and get my brake at 7. Okay. I guess what I'm gonna do is let's head to coastline mining. I think that there's going to be a cargo there I can take, but I don't necessarily want to take a cargo. I just want to see what it's like.
Let's do this.
Getting up to speed, traveling through the city. So we'll see.
Keep right.
Probably shouldn't be turning left out of here, but I'm going to. Is Cascadia waiting for me? No, he's just anxious. Let's clear on the left. Let's clear on the right. What do you know? So let's feather the throttle. Let's not clear on the left anymore, but let's feather the throttle and just see what happens. Those guys can wait for me. Right, so it is shifting up at the whatever engine speed it can get away with to put it at about 1,000 RPM in the next gear up. A little higher going 5th to 6th, but that's the transition from low gear and high gear. I would expect that. Let's squeeze the power on a little bit. In fact, let's give it full power. Doesn't downshift, okay. And it still doesn't upshift all that way either. It's not entirely doing what I hoped I would see. Okay. I'm going to try something. I'm going to switch to the 18-speed transmission and see if having nearly twice the gears makes a difference to how the thing performs. Let's go here, back to here. Hello, shiny Mac. I want to disable some of these. I don't need any of these showing right now. Let me check out a 18 speed. I think that's probably what we're looking for. Let's just check the overall gearing I'm going to see here. So M18. That's 37. Just working on a spreadsheet back here. So it's a bit taller. But let me make it even taller still. So I estimate 1150 RPM at 55 in top gear. And the way that my engine is set up, let me just double check that. 1100 to 1300 in top gear. So that tells me it should be in 18th gear at 55 miles an hour. That seems very tall gearing. But we will we'll see.
When possible, make a U-turn.
Am I going to hit anything here? No, I don't think so. Okay. That's if I put it in gear, of course. Helps if I put it in gear, take the parking brake off. Okay. So it is using a very tall gear to move off with. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I like that. Maybe I can tweak it. So what I'm expecting it to do is change gear super early. very much to short shift it. So we'll see if it does this. Let's go ahead and do a turn around here. I was hoping there would be no traffic comes down this road, but evidently I was wrong. I want to watch the tacho as well. So gentle power, and we are still targeting 1300 revs, but it's going through the gears sequentially, which is what you would probably expect. Okay. To this Range Rover, let's give it a bit more power. So now I'm going to give it full power as we move off. It did downshift there, and now it's taking it to 1600 revs through the gears. So the next gear, I'm going to lift off when I get to about 1500 RPM. It looks like it may have upshifted for me, which is good. If I give it full power, is it going to downshift? It is. Okay. Lift off and it then upshifts again. Well, that's not anything new.
Listen to me.
But not in the back of a bus, though. That'd be embarrassing. Okay, I'm seeing a change in the behavior with 18 gears. Of course, if you drive everywhere at full power, you're never going to notice a difference. That's not how it's going to work. So if I feather it now, it whips up to 1550 and changes up. Still 1550, and it's skipping a gear. Still skipping a gear. Still skipped a gear there as well. Am I giving it too much power, maybe? Still skipping, okay. So at 6 high, if I boot it, it drops to 6 low, and then, okay. That's good. Its behavior is not to drop down the 2 gears you've just gone up. I lift off now, and we're at 40. And I would say that that's the right gear. If I give it a bit more power and keep giving it power, and then close to full power, it shifts down. And it shifts down, it splits the gear on the way down. I'd say this is better.
You're going too fast.
I give it full power, it downshifts, so yeah.
Go straight.
Okay.
Keep left.
I'm going to go ahead and grab some cargo, I think. Although I want to fast travel to... Oh, this bus is going the same way. Whoops. Right there. That reluctance to move off from rest, that's what I really wanted to avoid. We'll test that again in just a second. Let's go clear of the junction. Okay, there we go. So let's pull off here. Right, so it's lower high, it looks like. So the high crawl gear. Give it a feather of power. It moves us. Okay, it's moving us. And it's whipsawing, okay. Whipsawing is when the gear it's changing up to is too high for the speed, so we're actually lower high to 1 low. Yeah, it doesn't like that. I'm at pains to solve that from my engine packs. I don't want the engines to do that. So feather it off the line and lift it off a little bit. Yeah, I need to give it fewer revs in the lower speed range. It's going to whipsaw. That's not a pleasant experience. And so a lot of the reasons why the shift points I'm choosing are that maybe a little bit higher than this attempt to refine stuff is because it whipsaws. Still, we're going to do 800 on the low gear range here, and we'll jump back in and we'll see if we fix that immediate problem. Let's take some more water, I think. might be time for some tea. If you're watching this and you want to actually see what I'm doing with the definition files, leave a comment below, and I'll see what I can do either this time or possibly the next time. Right.
Let's get this job done.
So lower high again. You know what I'm going to do actually. Let's see if I can remove traffic. I think that's the code. Or maybe it's just G traffic. There we go. Okay. So I've told it to reduce all AI traffic. I don't think it's going to completely remove everything, but we'll see. Right. So let's feather it. Feathering it like so. Yeah, we're pointing up a hill, which doesn't help. Bit of power. There we go. Moving it off. I'm lifting off the power a little bit as we start to move. Yeah, it's still too low. So that needs to be about 700 revs. I give it a bit more power. Okay, so it needs a reasonable chunk to be able to cope with that. I will, just for the sake of trying it, I'm going to make it that little bit lower. So we did have 700. Against my better judgment, 800. I'm going to put it to 700 against my better judgment. I don't think this is really sensible. I think this is going to be too low. But let's try it. Waiting for the game to follow. It does feel like it's a full minute to come out the game and relaunch the profile. And with no other mods, it would be quicker than this. But let's try.
Let's go.
Okay. So now we're asked it to change up with 700 revs. So let's see if this works. Feather the power. Still pointing up a hill. That's not helping things. There we go. Oh, I fixed it. Okay. Wonder if that's because we're a bit further up the hill though, but alright. So this is barely any power and it shifts up, and hey, look at that. It short shifted. And this is a little low for what the engine really wants to run at, but oh, okay. I am gonna let it go a little quicker. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. If I give myself full power, it downshifts. There we go. Yeah. Downshifts and aims for 1,000 revs in the next gear, and then 1,200 revs. Okay, so we're climbing the gears now. Another 1,200 revs, give or take.
Drop the load and go.
Yeah, that's fine, Doug. We're gonna take this corner a lot slower. I went from 0 power to full power in a short space of time, and there was a bit of a pause as it figured out, oh, I need to change down gears, and then off it goes. Back to feathering it, and I wouldn't wish to be in a high gear at this point. This is working. This is an engine that's not exactly known for its low down lugging either. So give it a bit more power. It's not downshifting yet. More power. And then it's full power at 1,400 revs, and it's not downshifting. So we kind of progressively fed that in there. I lifted off completely and it upshifted good. To get my engine brake, it's also the downshift, really aggressive hard right maneuver. Yeah, that's not what you do, but I did it anyway because there's no one else around. It's the zombie apocalypse, and I'm fine-tuning gear ratios. Alright. Let's see, I might want to do an external contract, external market for this. Do you have a really short trip? Yes, we do. 31 miles is a little too short. That really? So we can either do a 31 mile trip or a 609 mile trip. I don't really feel like doing 609 miles. So I guess we'll do the real short trip. So this is going to make my gross vehicle weight pretty heavy. I guess I will record it just for the sake of recording it, because it's not going to be very useful data. The reason being is such a short trip, lots of testing, lots of stopping and starting. Yeah. Okay, let's go here. So my mileage will be pretty terrible for this run, but it's not a real trip. If it were a couple hundred miles, it would be a little different.
Drive safe.
Is it behind me? Where do I go? Oh, there it is. It's right in front of me. Turn everything off, and then let's get some cargo. Yep, let's synchronize, do your changes, that's what we want to see. Yep, come on, okay. So cargo's been loaded, I'm now facing the other direction, that's good.
Time to get the job done.
Go ahead and start things up. So let's see how well this thing short shifts with a whole bunch of weight in the back. Bunch of rocks on the back. Move me off in low. That's the first difference. So we're feathering it and put me in low-high. Okay, and then put me in. Oh dang! Look at that. Okay, that was what I wanted to see. Not surprised it does it better when it's laden. That's what I would expect, really.
Turn left.
I mean, I wouldn't want to set the truck up for when it's empty. I'd find it just utterly struggles when it's full. I'm still going to stop because I want to experience that moving off again. Gentle amount of power. No, let's move off with a bit more aggression. Okay, so it completely skipped a gear and it skipped another gear. Right, so I would expect that. It's skipping a whole bunch of gears because we're doing more revs. Okay, well that's what I want it to do. Now I'm feathering it again, so we'll see if it's going to upshift. Is it going to go through one gear or maybe two? One gear. Okay, again, heavy weight on the back. So yes, I would probably expect that. So we're carefully trundling around now. We've only gained 1 mile an hour. Squeeze a bit more power here. You can hear it getting a bit more power, and let's see where it changes up. So we're going up a hill, and it held on to revs a bit longer. And aim for 1100 revs in the next gear. Okay. Let's give it a bit more power again. We'll lift off now. Didn't upshift. If I force the upshift, it's possibly a bit low. Yeah, it's better. Okay. I think a better test will be trying to merge into traffic, trying to do all that kind of stuff. So right now, we're facing up a hill. I'm just going to hit cruise to 30 and see what it does. I need to go and find a steep gradient. It's not losing any speed, so it's got no reason to change gear right now. it can't really accelerate. It can. So if you were doing this manually, you might downshift, but you possibly wouldn't because you're in a truck, so you're not really in a racing car.
Get ready to turn right.
Use the engine brake, it downshifts quite aggressively to 1800 RPM, that's good. Bit of service brake.
Turn right.
Yeah, and it needs that engine breakage because this is a heavy load. Let's stop and move off light. There is traffic around. Oh yeah, see, it downshifted there. And then skipped a gear. So I've gone really aggressive with the low engine speed target. Interesting.
Go straight.
Goes up a hill, needs a few more revs. And then when we crest it, I left off ever so slightly and it encourages a shift up. And now it's flat, it shifts up again, and we did gain a little bit of speed there. I would say that that's improved the behaviour. It's good. It might be a little slower though, climbing the hills and stuff, but just as a test, feathering it versus giving it more power versus going down hills, the adaptive stuff is adapting better. Brake max speed down to 30. It's a bit of engine brake, it didn't downshift. I guess it didn't think it needed to. Okay. So it's doing it at 1050 RPM in 30, and I know that some manufacturers do not permit you, do not wish you to run your engine outside certain engine speeds. Good example is Caterpillar, and they specify that the engine rev range for the majority of their in fact all of their heavy duty engines and a lot of their medium duty engines are 1200 to 2100. No, to be fair, the smaller ones are typically 1440 or 1400 to 2200 revs. So this process, and I have done a little bit of this with some of my engines, it's gonna let your Caterpillar run at less than 1200 revs because it'll pull at 1000, say. I'm lifting off a little bit here, just trying to save a bit of fuel and see when it's going to downshift. I'm almost at minimal power right now. That's 1000 revs. It should go a little lower. Okay, and it's not because we've crested the hill. All right, well, what have we learned then? Looks like I can get, with this particular engine, looks like I can get really aggressive on the lower side of it. Yeah, so it's downshifting, but I expect that. This is a rough section of road. Would have liked some scales to see how much this cargo weighed, but hey, it's okay.
You have arrived at your destination. Your route guidance is now finished.
I guess they really did need stones moving from one end of Moab to the other. And they're going to pay me money for this, so I'm not going to complain at that. But I used 7 gallons to travel just 32 miles, so that's about 4.5 miles per gallon, give or take. But it might have been higher with the original engine definition, and it would have used more revs. Okay. I think what I want to do now is quick travel to, say, Vegas, and then there's a Interstate 93 is a route that I know and love and know how well it most trucks perform, I want to try this engine. I want to try this combination on that road, but I do want to switch back to the 10-speed transmission. And I think life's a little easier with an 18-speed. When we're doing testing like this, I can see the effects that they're much more obvious. So I'm going to go back here. Let's go to truck configurator. I don't think I'm gonna need to dismiss this trailer, I think. So it's going to be what was an Eaton 10, I think, overdrive. I seem to recall. It was one of the transmissions that came with the mod. Like so, okay. Which one was it? Was it this one? Yeah, I think it was. It was a 3.7. Okay, that works for me. Let's take a note what we're doing here. Okay, let's do that. Let's check for damage. There, nothing there. I think I want to dismiss the trailer, but I can't do that here. So, okay, go back here. Go here. Trailer manager. Take some water. You're getting dry again. Okay. Doesn't really matter whether it's an external or otherwise, but we're going to Kingman. That's perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Fairly heavy. 43,000 is not exactly heavy, but it's more than the 20,000 pounds that we see above it. And Kingman, okay.
Come on, there's a job to do.
Oh, it's even right opposite the garage, which is useful. So far it's going through the gears one by one. I would probably expect that. There's no weight on the back. It's very, very responsive to things like brakes. Because, like I say, there's nothing. Oh, there's no traffic. So, in theory, there's no traffic. So I can just drive like I stole it. But I think I want to put the AI traffic back in. That adds, for me personally, it adds a lot to the game. And yes, it might be a little frustrating when they do stupid things. But if you're driven on the road out there, that's the nature of what we do. We try not to get frustrated by people who do things we didn't anticipate. And sometimes we could not have anticipated it, and sometimes it's as much on us as it is on them. Let's go ahead and back that up. I don't know if you heard that, but the Big G has just announced there's somebody at the doorbell. Let me see if someone's taking care of that. Doesn't appear to be anyone there, so... Okay. Wait. There was somebody there. Okay. I guess they just rang it because they were delivering something. No, great. No, not to worry about here. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and do the traffic. So I'll set that to be 1. You know what? Let's be a little bit tough on myself. Let's make it 1 1/4. 1.25. All that tells me is, it's going to be a bit busier than normal. Vegas is typically a bit busier than normal. Wherever your normality is, Vegas is probably busier. I didn't watch it shift gears then, but I don't think it whipsawed, which is nice. I'm kind of like deliberately provoking it right now to try and get it to shift and then not need to shift so much. Just want to get it to just move around the gearbox a little bit, because this kind of slow speed maneuvering is incredibly frustrating if your transmission is up and down, up and down, up and down the gears. And it's behaving great. Yep, short shift at 1300 revs, that's kind of what we would expect, that's what we really want, that's how I would drive it if I'm not doing it manually. Hey, I wonder how well this works with a Mack 5-speed. That would be a challenge. That's... oh... So, if you didn't know, one of the things that Mack introduced in the 1970s, possibly the 1960s, is the Mack Super-Liner engine. The Mack Super-Liner engine, okay, it's a very sort of flat power curve, and it's constant power is how it was advertised. It's not entirely constant power. But what that means is that as a driver, you aren't encouraged so much to shift down. So your engine operating range, it goes back to that 1200 to 2100 RPM point. So what Mack did, they introduced an evenly spaced 5-speed gearbox to go with an engine that's designed to go from the governor to 1200 RPM. So most every gear change, you take the engine up to 2000 revs, you change gear, and then you're back in the next gear at 1200 RPM. Okay. There's not that much you can really do with this kind of setup for that, if you want to keep to the 1200 RPM point. So I did my usual, which was feather the throttle up to about 20 and then hit cruise and increase the speed, so it's not changing down. Okay, I kill the cruise now because we gotta stop. It did not behave untoward there, which I was very happy with. Move off here. This Mustang's not going anywhere. I may be stealing his lane, but hey. And I got a fine because it didn't think I was meant to go. Oh well. That was a 1600 revs to 1200 revs. 16 to 1150 maybe. Okay. Let's resume on the cruise. It's going to give it a bit more power. I'm going to kill cruise now. This Mustang's in the way.
Keep left, and then turn
This
left.
light is probably going to go red for me. Yeah, it did. Okay. Well, I'll get to move off, and I won't need to be too aggressive with the power and then move off. You know, I'm going to just break I'm going to get a fine for this. Oh well. A bit more power, feed it in. Now giving it full power, and it's still short shifting me. Okay. What tweak am I missing here? I'm still at full power right now, and it might want to shift down anytime soon, but it hasn't.
Then turn right.
I told my cruise to get rid of 65. I don't think it will. I think it's going to be able to before the limit changes to 55. And it shifted there to hit 1000 RPM with the next gear up. But you know, I can keep it in this. Keep it in this spot. So we're in top gear. We're doing 51. We're losing speed. At some point, it's going to want to downshift, probably, possibly. Still losing speed. It hasn't downshifted. Was it 48? It did it before 47, 48. It's holding onto the gear. Okay. I think it's going to work out okay in this instance, but that's a little uncomfortable for me. I really wanted it to shift down sooner. And on the other hand, it actually did great. It didn't need to because we were cresting the hill, and maybe that it was flattening off and we just couldn't see it. Maybe. I'm not going to quibble that then. I've got to find another hill, another example of what it's doing before I can really understand if that's where I want it to be. Let's merge into the left lane, I think. So I mean, right now it's still on its way up to 65, but reasonably heavy cargo. Not that powerful an engine, not that much torque. This is expected behaviour, and I don't think we'd get much quicker if we downshifted. And at any point, the speed limit's going to go to 55 soon. Which I will just round the corner, as I recall. There we go. So I'm going to tap the cruise down to 55, and here begins the part of the road that I know pretty well. I use it for a sort of assessing how good an engine transmission combination is. Not a good test so far because it's just wafting along. There we go. Okay. Right, so what point's it going to downshift? Okay, so it downshifted a little late for me, but alright. It may want to do it again soon. We'll see. 1150, 1100, 1050. Yeah, this is too late. Yeah, it looks like it's going to hold it in 6, but wow, that's an aggressive short shift. But look at it, it's pulling it. Dang. Well, that's interesting now, isn't it? That was a very aggressive short shift, and I'm supposing there was a change in the gradient that was subtle enough that we couldn't really see it, but the transmission engine combination was like, oh, we can change down, or we can change up even. Right, let's get back on the power, get up to 65 if I'm able to. This has given me plenty to think about, plenty of engines to go back and just take another look at those shift points. But at what point does it become unrealistic to short shift an engine too soon? You're going to damage it by running it at too slow an engine speed, right? So that's an interesting compromise to make. Do you stick with the manufacturer guidelines? Do you stick with what people do in real life? So you come into NTC, it might be set up to run at 1500 RPM at 60, 65, or maybe even higher than that. Would you really be running it? Would you really be cruising at 1100 RPM in that engine, or would you be using a gear lower? And the answer may well be you'll use a gear lower. There goes my low fuel light. 57 miles. What's my range? Just better range. All loads. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to ignore that, but I'm not going to stress it. Yeah, so do you ignore the manufacturer's guidelines, or do you just stick with them? I don't have the answer. I guess that's a preference thing, and do I end up doing two engine packs? One for this is how the manufacturer says you drive it, and one for this is how you can drive it. If you're not too bothered about longevity of the engine, because you don't want to run an engine at too low an oil pressure. And the whole point of setting up your automated shift points is that you avoid that. More questions than I started this live stream with, but I'm glad I tried this. glad that you got to see this as well. You came along for the ride. Okay, I wonder if I get pulled into the way station that's just around the corner here. Curious to see what this combination weighs as well. How to find out. No, I didn't get pulled in, but I'm going to kill the power because we got a big stoplight coming up, and we got to go straight ahead. So I could use the left lane, but I'm not going to. Use the engine brake though. Right, so bangs me right down to 1800 revs and drops a gear. Okay, I'm at 45, the limit. And it drops to 35. Let's see if we're at 35 or less. That engine brake seems to be just fine. Let's squeeze the power on now. Will it hold this engine speed, this gear? It does. Let's lift off again. Well, this has been educational. Almost ran at the back of the Postman Pat, and if you know your British TV and your children's shows, you'll know exactly what I mean by that. If you're thinking, who the heck is Postman Pat, don't worry about it. So just to recap, what I've done is I've changed my low gear and high gear recommended engine speed range, because you can't control this exactly from the engine definition. You are more like, it's like the Paris code. You're giving it guidelines. My low gear range is 700 to 1300 RPM. My high gear range is currently 1100 to 1300 RPM. But as we've seen in this trip, it will drive along at less than 1100 revs. Now, interestingly, my power engine speed range, that's if you're demanding a lot of power, it will bias the engine speeds towards this range. That's 1400 to 2100 RPM, and I have really not seen it do that. Well, I have seen it do it actually. I've seen it go to 1600 revs. My engine brake range, that's perfectly fine. That's 1500 to 2200 RPM. I give it a little bit extra on the top to help engine braking. So I'm kind of feathering it through here, and it's using lower revs. So I'm gonna just move lane here. Oh look, it's a Prius. Oops. That's unfortunate. Officer, I don't know what happened. He drove into me. I think that Tesla was involved. Let's go ahead and turn my lights off. Let's just whistle nonchalant. See, look, Tesla's doing crazy stuff. What is that Tesla? Oh, I see what it's doing. Okay, well, see you, Prius. I wouldn't be surprised if it backs into the Tesla now. I'm going to gun it off the line. Well, try and gun it off the line. That's full power. And 1600 revs, it's not really full powering it that much. So it does up this hill. Is it going to downshift for me? Nope. Huh. It's holding the speed. It's not downshifting and losing speed. It's just pulling it.
Turn left.
Very aggressive left turn here. This is not good for the tyres or for the car driver coming towards me. Not good for his It's heart condition, I'm sure. And wrong way. Oops. Might have done this trip once or twice, and might have been using this yard here on the right. So, my bad. Complacency, eh? Okay. I think I'm gonna leave the low gear, high gear range where they are right now. I think my next transition, my next change is going to be to play around with the power engine range. So that's currently showing us 1400 to 2100 RPM.
Turn left.
What if I were to increase the low side of that scale? Rather than 1400, what if I made that maybe 1700? So I'm reducing the available power band for high power conditions, but I'm moving it up quite a bit. Would that encourage the engine to rev higher when it needs more power? And could that make a difference for how it behaves when encountering gradients and stuff? That's an interesting thing to think about. I think we're going to go find out, but I'm going to go take a quick comfort break, as they know of the trade. In other words, I'm going to go and use the bathroom. And how am I doing for water? I got enough. I will be right back in, well, I guess a few jiffies. Okay, one jiffy later. Let's go back here. What I want to do is fast travel back to Vegas, try and run the same trip. It might not let me fast travel. No, it won't do. So I need fuel. Okay, world map. Let's find the nearest fuel station. Oh, that's convenient. That's very useful. It's right round the corner. Let's go here. We'll go ahead and get some motion lotion. And then we will move on to oh, I see. Let's see why am I pointing in the wrong direction, but I see why. Okay. It's certainly not the biggest truck in the world, but there are some trucks that would make this maneuver a lot easier. All that chrome. Bring your own sunglasses, right? I've got 3.5. I will have about 3.5 hours to run the same trip from Vegas to Kingman if I'm gonna be done by 7. So I might turn off traffic because it's gonna slow me down a little bit. On the other hand, it adds so much to the game, so I might just check the time, see how long it reckons it's gonna take. Bit of a slowdown in the game there, though. Bit of a chunky section of lag. Okay, let's see how much. See how much we take. I think it's oh, that's a shame. I went and hid the amount of diesel we were buying. I think it's a 260-gallon tank. In fact, we can actually check here. Let's see how much have we got. Right, so it's a 260-gallon tank. So I put a bunch in there. I don't know how much exactly, but that's okay. In fact, we're not even going to worry about that. we're going to fast travel to Vegas. We'll do that immediately. Like so. Okay. Go here. Go here. I might want to do the other. Yeah, I do. External contracts. So what have we got? Going to Kingman. It says it's 2 hours to get to Kingman, so that's fine. I don't really have a comparable trip. Well, that's okay. We'll do the curtains. It's curtains for me. We'll do a curtains trip, but I want to tweak a couple of things in engine definition first. So let's go ahead and go and begin the delivery. We'll secure that. Waiting patiently for the game.
You've got the contract. Now
Yeah,
go.
we know, and I can't teleport there, unfortunately. The game doesn't let you if you're doing an external contract, so we will drive there like we stole it. You know what we'll do though? We're actually going to do this. Let's just remove. Whoops! Let's just remove AI traffic. I could potentially turn off engine fines, but I'm not going to worry about that.
Turn right. Then turn right.
Drive like we stole it. Yep. Give me a fine. It's fine. It's okay.
How many times do I have to tell you to slow down?
So this is the same behavior as we had before. When I've got the cargo, I'll change the engine definition parameters just a little.
You're going to hit something.
Yeah, I'm going to use all the lanes because there's no one else around, so I don't have to worry about it. But I will at least use the right-hand side of the street.
Do you even listen to
Good grief, how far have I got to go? 3 miles. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. Give me as much fine as you like. Unfortunately, I have too much money in the bank. I need to spend it on something.
Go straight. How many times do I have to tell you to slow down?
It's interesting going through Vegas at this speed with just pedestrians around.
Turn right.
That was rather an aggressive way of tackling a corner. Here is it 431? I think. Print.
Turn left.
Yeah, turn left here. We're going to turn left again. This is quite a tight depot to get out of, or get into sometimes if we bring in cargo. Full lock. I'm going to switch to the top-down view just to make sure I'm kind of clearing everything. Not that we mind too much. There we go. There's my cargo. Doing this in a hurry. Drop the ride height like so. Try and line it up.
Pedal to the metal, man.
Okay. Right, that's connected to the cargo. Okay, so definitely got that connected. Let's jump out here. Got to quit the gale, quit the profile, not the game. Like so. So let's go back to here. Jump back to Windows. So low gear is 700 to 1300. High gear is 1100 to 1300. Power is 17 to 2100. Sorry, 14. I'm going to change the power to 1700 RPM. If this behaves one way, what it means is when we have to give it more power, it's going to let the revs go up to 17 or possibly 2100. Alternatively, it might downshift 1 or 2 gears if we ask it to give us more power, and I don't know what the game will do. Logically, I would have thought the second, but after the experience I've had this late morning into right now, I'm not so sure. So let's jump back into the game and let's see what happens. I'm curious. The description of what these do implies that that's the rev boost that you get when you need more power, but I may have misunderstood what they meant. Okay. Back in the shiny Mack.
Okay.
Gonna run with my lights on for safety. Let's go. So reckons I'll get there. Oh wow, 2 hours. Yeah, I think it'll take me a bit more than that, but we'll see. So I'm feathering it right now, and I didn't notice any change in behavior, and I wouldn't expect to. I don't like leaving this yard because it's hard to miss all the curbs. But I don't need to look around because there's no traffic. That makes life a lot easier. Alright, so let's give it full lock here. I suspect I've turned it a little late, but... Oh, okay. I mean, that's... Oh, it's on the curb, alright. That's not good for the tyre. I did turn a little late, but only a little bit late. That's very tight. Okay. So far I'm being a bit more aggressive with the throttle, and it's being a bit more aggressive with the revs, but not massively so. Just feathering it around this corner. Let's see when it shifts up about the 1300 point. Okay. I mean, that's completely fine, and if I boot it, it drops down and doesn't give me 1700 revs. It just... This is full power acceleration, and it's taken me to 16. It's made no difference. It's not changed how it behaves. Now, why is that? It's a high power scenario. I'm at full throttle, and it's not changing how it shifts. Perhaps my understanding was correct. Let's take this really wide. In fact, let's use a bit of engine brake. It's really unkind to do that to the truck. I can flip the trailer doing that as well, but I want to try on this route. Take it really wide. That's a little too fast though still. Okay, back on the power. My cruise, I want to get to 55. Again with the short shifting. So the behavior I was hoping to see, I've not really seen. It's not changed its behavior when trying to accelerate up a hill. Well, it hasn't so far. Let's see what it does here. No, it's still short shifting. So I've really not changed it in the slightest. Right now it's losing speed. Is it going to downshift? Yes, it is. So it downshifts again, but it only downshifts to 1500 revs. It doesn't aim for 1700. So why is that? What's the trigger? Do I have to be in manual mode to get it to do that? Do I have to force it? Do I rely on cruise too much and it doesn't work? Again, there's that super short shift here. I've just killed the power completely. Oh, I guess we really do crest the hill because it's actually picking up speed with no power. Huh, okay. I think I want to do that again, but in manual mode. How do I turn around? Oh, I don't. Well, I mean, I can. There's the other way of turning around, of course. This is a 3-point turn. Or an Austin Powers 18-point turn. is there no way for me to turn around? So I can try that in manual without using cruise control, see if that makes a difference. I don't think there is. I'm now at full power in 8th gear, and it's not downshifting. It's lumbering up the hill at 1150, 1200 RPM. So I don't think I'd see a change in behavior then. Let's put cruise up to 55 and see what happens. Well, it's just going to get it to 55, right? No massive changes here, and none would be expected because, yeah. So I'm missing an ingredient, or maybe this is how the mod drives in ETS2, and I just have to spend a bit more time with it. If you had to describe the color of my face right now, it would be mild disappointment. But I guess vindication, because how I had set things up is kind of because of this behavior, or this lack of behavior. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the truck, and just change that behavior again. I think I am curious if I can force it to be more aggressive when it changes. So I had set high gear to be 1100 to 1200. Let's make high gear to be 1000 to 1200, and I'm going to keep power range 17 to 2100. This means there's a 500 RPM gap between where it's going to be trying to shift up, or where it's recommended to shift up, versus where it is going to aim to shift a minimum engine speed if it's under high power demand. It's only 100 revs off of the high end, but that may be enough to just persuade it to, hey, you want to drop a couple of gears and pick up your skirt and make a sprint for it, kind of thing. Other truck genders are available, and I'm not implying any particular gender that wears a skirt or doesn't wear a skirt. Alright, well, let's give this a go. My confidence that this is going to do anything productive or useful is pretty low, but I'm certainly going to try it.
Drive safe.
Let's feather it when we move off. So, yeah. And 16 to 11, 15 to 11. And the next upshift, I'm going to nail it. There we go. Right, so downshifted immediately to 14, and then went straight up to 16. It didn't go any higher. Seriously? Why? Do I need to quit the game completely? So there seems to be a flaw in the logic or the documentation, which is kind of what I ended up having to do, trying to work around, because it's not entirely logical what it's doing. So to summarize, I have given the the RPM range. See, there you go. It's 1,000 revs in top. That's not enough. We need more revs in top gear. Sorry, what I was saying was our RPM range for low gear and high gear, I've massively restricted those, so they're a lot lower. Low gear is 700 to just 1300 revs, so that's 600 RPM, and high gear is now 1000 to 1200 RPM, which, as you can see, I announced that was too few revs, but it also didn't falter. It's accelerated, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe 1,000 revs is all you need, in which case that's on me. I mean, yeah, it's coped. Well, we might need to get weighed, but I don't intend on pulling into the weigh station. it's not going to contribute my my research into why this engine's not behaving quite as I wanted it to. Yeah, I got a bypass anyway, so that's fine. Just gonna drive it a bit like a hooligan. In fact, let's actually kill the cruise. Let's bring the speed back a little.
Caution. You're exceeding the
Yeah,
speed limit.
we know.
You're going to hit something.
Doug, it's fine. There's nothing to hit. There's nobody out here. If the light is red, I'm still. In fact, Doug. I'm gonna see. You watching this? Look.
Slow
I'm in the
down.
wrong lane, and there's nothing you can do about it. And nobody's out here to get me. There's no police. There's no other truck. It's
Go
just
straight.
the open road and a Mack engine I'm experimenting with that's not quite doing what I wanted it to, or not quite following the logic I assumed it would. So yeah,
You're going too fast.
I'm using the wrong lane. In fact, let's use the middle lane. I got a ticket, yay! I'm using the middle lane because I
Then turn
can.
left.
And last trip into Kingman, this particular yard was one I almost pulled into without realizing.
Turn
Oh,
left.
wrong one. Let's grab some engine brake action.
Turn right.
Not a euphemism.
Finally, we are here.
Enough of your sarcasm, sir. We got here in double quick time. Okay, well at least I'll check the mileage on this trip, I suppose. 113 miles, and we you burnt 17.7 gallons of virtual diesel, so we still got nearly 6.5 miles per gallon. So really, it's kind of defying logic right now. I'm not entirely sure why or what I have to do to get the power range to behave like I anticipate. Is there anything else I can think of to try? Yeah, I'm going to try one thing. I'm going to make that 1200 to 2100. So, okay, literally, if it goes above 1200 RPM, it's potentially using the high power band. I don't think that'll make a difference, but we'll try it because I've ran it 1400 to 2100 on the power band, and the high gear has been up to 1400, so I don't think this will make a difference. And it may well be that every single engine is just a little bit different to how this DD 8V-92 works. Okay. Let's see how well this works. One of those things that's probably going to work better with a bit of cargo behind me, but you know what, I'm actually going to let's go ahead and fast travel somewhere. Okay, there we go. Why is it? Oh, okay. So why is it not moving? I guess it was stuck on something. Must have been the curb. Okay, fair enough. Put the speed up to 35. I'm going to try this old school manually, I think, rather than using cruise. So I've got a much better understanding of what I'm asking the engine to do. So, well, we're going to run this red light because that's how we run. Gotcha. And this one as well. So I'm not using any really massive amount of power right now, and it's 1,000 revs, 34 miles an hour on top gear. So if I squeeze the power, it's going to accelerate. Great. Let's go back there to 30. Wow, it's running less than 1,000 revs. If I give it 100% power immediately, it changes down, and goes to 1500 revs.
You can listen to me. You're going to hit something.
It's not following the logic that I thought it would. I don't know why. I mean, it's kind of behaving better, but there's a big compromise involved, and that's running the engine at lower than recommended manufacturer specification speeds, which you don't really want to do if you value your engine lasting a long time. So I'm not sure how much I can really do this. Let's just... I don't think I'm going to learn anything from this trip here. If I'm kind of cruising. If I kill the power and then give it full power, it doesn't downshift. If I do it manual shift, I could downshift because it's still got 200 revs to go. So, and then upshift at 66. So there is. So what I'm showing there is, if you're doing less than 66 in top gear, in any gear, you could use 7 or 8. So right now, full power keeps me in 8th gear. 51, full power keeps me in 8th gear. It's not downshifting, even though I'm asking it for 100% power. That's the thing that... Oh, wait a second. I wonder. That's the thing that's just a little... it's like it's not really behaving as I once thought it would. Okay, I guess we'll check something here. So, adaptive automatic transmission. We've got disabled, high power, normal, or economy. Economy will not work with this. Let's go ahead and try high powered mode. Just for that, just humor me here. Let's just see what difference that it makes. So, I am going to drop my speed down to 55. Okay, 55. Let's try and accelerate up to 70. Keeps it in that gear. Okay. Let's get my speed down to maybe 30. Okay. So I'm doing 30. If I punch the throttle wide open, does it... Look at that, it's changed up to 7th. Alright. That's interesting. If I punch it, will it drop me down to 5th or 6th? 6th. Then 5th. Oh, briefly, right, okay. So, let's punch it again, down to 6th. Up to 7, okay. So, hard on the brakes again, so we're gonna go up to 30. It's using 7th gear because that's 950 revs. That's too slow. I can adjust that. Let's hit resume. Let's tap up to 55. Keeps it in 7th gear. Okay. Let's take it out of cruise control and manually. Oh, it downshifted, but my speed back up to 70. There we go. And manually floor it, drops 2 gears, and then skips a gear, goes to 7th. High power mode doesn't really do that much. It still lets it short shift. I'm lost here. I don't know why or how. I'm supposed to influence this when it's doing its own thing. Let's try it from 20. Okay, so 20. I'm gonna use 5th. Okay, punch it. Drops down the gear very, very briefly, then up to 6th. So it's missing 5th gear. Does it need 5th gear? No, it's not laden. we're kind of discovering that we can change the mode, and it's not. It was seemingly no keener to shift down a gear, or well, it was kind of keener, but it would like if you were in 7th gear, drop a couple of gears to 5th, but then block shift back up to 7 as opposed to going through 6. But if you punch the throttle wide open at say 25, it will go through the gears one by one. This with this 10 speed. So it's something is just a little weird with how it's handling what the gear it wants to be in. Oh, it's weird. Anyhow, there's one last thing I actually want to do before I close the stream. So we're close to the end. That's okay. What I want to do is, so I'm going to go ahead and do this now. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and put my traffic back to 1 because I like traffic, and then I'm going to fast travel to the Vegas dealer. And then I'm going to show off the range of engines that I'll be working on for the 8V-92. Give that a second here. So these definitions, sometimes I'll use the Z-mod sound underneath them. Sometimes I'll use my own sound. Well, I will now. But 8V-92, so what have we got here? We got a pretty big range. We have 1978s, we have 1981s, and we've got silver and non-silver. So the 1978, this is just, oh, let's try that. I thought I had more than this. Oh, that's why. Yeah, the 1985, great, wonderful. So 1978, you know what, let's do that here. 1978, it's Detroit. Okay, so I've got 2 of those, the 360 and the 430. They are the earliest engines available that I could find for definitions for the Detroit diesel. So you've got basically a base spec engine, and they uprated. 430 is a pretty powerful version of the Detroit diesel. And then 1981, we've got the silvers. So there are 4 silvers, I believe. Let's just check that. 355, yep. 365, the 445, and the 480. And the 480 is closer to an industrial engine, but it does appear to have been in service for at least some of the time. It was a real thing. That is a bit of a beast compared to the rest of the range. It feels fairly performant, shall we say. Now the other ones, you've got the top performance engines here. Same torque for these. I wonder if I want to change the year of them. They might be an 85. Either way, the difference between these, it's very similar torque curve between the two, but the 424 has a lower governor. It's 1900 RPM as opposed to 2100 RPM. And then the 1985, yeah, I need to change those. Because look, we've got 2 here that, yeah, the top economy versions, again the same torque as the top performance versions, but the difference here is, again, it's to do with the governor, and it's also to do with the torque is restricted at higher engine speeds. So these have a constant power from pretty much when this engine hits 335 horsepower, it stays 335 until you reach the governor. And this engine here, when you reach 365, it stays at 365 until you reach the governor. So they are all based on real engines from Detroit Diesel. They all have their own character. They've been a lot of fun to play around with and work with. And now I've got that Scania sound pulled into ATS, I at least have something that sounds a bit like a V8. Right, I'm going to go ahead and I guess close this here. Conclusion of today is the ATS gear shift points. I'm really not entirely clear how they work, or I'm no clearer than I was when I started this. Yes, I knew that if you reduce the range, you would short shift it. That's fine, but getting the thing to use the higher power engine speed, no closer to figuring out why that doesn't work as I would want it to. In other words, full power, shift down a lot more aggressively, use more revs. But hey, it's a learning curve, shall we say. Hope that you enjoyed today's stream. Yeah, it's another quick couple of hours. There we go. Hopefully it give you some insight into some of the stuff that goes behind the engines that I build for the Steele Productions Engine Pack, and how I tune them and try and get them to be authentic but drivable. Anyway, there's links to most of the mods I've used. In fact, I think all the mods I've used are in the description today. You can like this, you can subscribe for more. I live stream on a semi-regular basis, not every week. I don't have a set schedule for those. But I do aim to release videos on a Tuesday and Thursday at 7 AM Central. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Have a splendid week. And I will see everyone in the next one. Thanks so much, everyone. Goodbye.